If you tuned into our previous video, we went into Modern Warfare Zombies and defeated the Red Worm solo, and then afterwards we raced over to the Old Dark Aether, but we didn't have a Scorcher. We had to make a few stops along the way over here, and with a pretty stressful journey to get here, a thunderstorm and 2 gas masks later, we were finally able to make our way into the Elder Dark Aether. We're gonna come in here and get all 3 of those classified schematics. Now we already got the Scorcher schematics in our bag as well. Maybe it's just from doing the new Dark Aether so much that I forgot how hard this one can be, especially if we don't fully prepare ourselves for coming in here. But we're still gonna get the job done. With that, welcome on back to the channel, everybody. If y'all don't know, my name is Ghost. I appreciate everybody that stops by the video today. If you're into zombies content or anything Call of Duty, consider rocking the hell out of that like button, man, and subscribing to the channel. We are so close to 15,000 subscribers, and I cannot thank everybody for all the insane support on the channel lately. So if you guys haven't watched the previous video, I would highly recommend you guys do that, just because that's going to completely show you guys how we got to this point. Doing the Red Worm honestly wasn't even a part of the original plan. I was just going to come into this Elder Dark Aether first off, but since I spawned in by the building that shows us where all the locations for the USBs are, I figured what the hell, we're gonna do the Red Worm before we go into the Elder, which we were able to do successfully. But in turn, when we came in here to the Elder Dark Aether, it completely threw us off because I did not come in here prepared whatsoever. First off, if you're gonna be coming into the Elder Dark Aether, if you have decoys equipped and if you used up both of them, if you have that empty slot and you come into the Dark Aether, it's gonna completely take them away. Now the best way to find lethals and tacticals while you're in here is gonna be shooting those crystals that you see growing. Unfortunately, the VR11 doesn't break the crystals, so you're gonna notice me taking the WAF and trying to shoot these things a lot throughout the run. I was just absolutely struggling trying to find any tacticals that I could. I was really looking for a decoy, that way I could just replenish these things, but it just refused to give me one. Did end up finding a couple monkey bombs and cashmeres along the way, which helped us out a little bit. The other 2 things that I would recommend that you guys bring in here is at least 2 sentry guns. One, if you plan on doing the Escort, you can put it on top of the ACV. Believe it or not, that will actually help you quite a bit clear out these zombies. I would save the other sentry gun for when you're doing the Holdout mission. But another thing that I would very highly recommend that you guys bring in is bring in at least 1 turret mod, because once the ACV rounds that first corner and you got that Mega Abomination that's chasing you, usually there is a turret right there. Not only will it take out the Mega Abomination that should be following you from this point, but there's going to be another one that's spawning in front of you, and usually it's able to take that one out as well. I think an Ether Blade really would have helped us out in this situation too, just to clear out some of these damn zombies, and I really think the Golden Armor definitely saved my ass multiple times in here. I don't think we would have been able to do it without it. There was so many times in this run where I swear to God I should have went down and I just barely skipped out of it. I gotta say though, doing this single contract alone is harder than doing the entire new Elder Dark Aether. Pretty sure it takes just about the same amount of time too. Matter of fact, I've completed the new Elder Dark Aether in just over 5 minutes, and this contract I believe took me just over 6 minutes. So yeah, just think about that, guys. You can completely complete the new Elder Dark Aether in the amount of time that it takes you to do this one contract. And the one thing that is kind of cool about completing the new Dark Aether is the fact that you can get any of these acquisitions from in there. Now you're not going to be getting these older schematics, but you can get any of the acquisitions like the Ether Blade, the Golden Armor, the Dog Bone. Finding any of these old acquisitions inside of the new Elder Dark Aether is a little bit more rare than finding all of that new stuff. So if you guys want that for sure chance of getting that Ether Blade, the Golden Armor, or that Dog Bone, coming in here is the way to go. Just be prepared for a little bit more of a fight, especially if you're doing this solo. And if you don't have the VR11 case and if you're solo, I probably wouldn't even attempt doing this Escort mission because you're going to be needing that thing to repair this. Now I have tried doing this mission without the VR11 several times, and I have gotten really close, but it usually always blows up at the end of the mission. Maybe if you completely filled your large rucksack with nothing but decoys, maybe you might be able to get this done. Then you guys are gonna have absolutely nothing else. You know what, that actually might be something I need to try. Now granted, I get we didn't have a sentry gun on top of this thing, and I don't have an Ether Blade and stuff like that, but why is there so many zombies in here? I feel like this has been buffed up quite a bit. At this point, I was starting to shit myself just a little bit because we had 2 Mega Abominations on us and plus a bunch of other bosses and zombies. And I figured we could be taking out the Mega Abominations with the VR11, but if I hopped off this thing and just tried to focus on them, I would either risk the chance of blowing up this thing or going down to everything else that's around us. So I just figured, hey, let's just try to stay nimble. We don't actually have to defeat them. As long as we can get around them and make sure that this thing doesn't blow up, then we should be okay. Notice several times these guys kept trying to beam me and use this ACV as cover. My advice would be to duck down in front of it so that way it still pushes you forward. You really don't want to lose the momentum with this thing. If you get caught off guard and you end up going down, you'd be surprised how quickly that all of these zombies can just destroy the health of this thing. Isn't this vehicle supposed to be like a tank? Why does it blow up so damn easy? Here I go just shooting these crystals. I was struggling for a tactical, guys. I did finally find a gas grenade, and I know that those do a little bit of damage to the zombies, so I figured what the hell, that's better than nothing. But we did also get to a point where I was starting to run out of ammo in everything. Like I didn't have anything in the Wonder Waff, and I didn't have anything in the VR11, and finding ammo on the ground around was getting a little bit harder and harder. Luckily, we do know where an ammo station is that's going to be coming up, so I decided to ditch the vehicle for just a few moments so I could run in here, refill my ammo, and come back. And this part was definitely scary, guys. I figured that they were definitely going to blow up the ACV when I went to go get ammo, but luckily they didn't. But on my way back, I was running and dodging and weaving through all of these zombies. We had a mega abomination that was trying to beam us. We had a mangler that was shooting us with his cannon, plus just being chased by all these zombies. I would almost go as far as to say, if you're trying to complete this contract solo and without all the proper stuff to do it, this can be almost just as difficult as trying to do the Red Worm solo. And at times, I would say it actually requires a little bit more movement, and if you're not 100% confident in that, like if you're a little bit more of a slower player, that's what's going to make this really difficult. As someone that's been playing Call of Duty Zombies since the very first iteration back in World at War, one of my absolute #1 tips that I can give for you guys is never stop moving and really learn how to control your aim while moving or killing zombies while moving. I remember one of the things that a lot of my friends used to do, like back in the day, they would find a spot on the map where they would like to camp and they would just sit there and let zombies come to them, and I'd be like, you guys are not going to succeed this way. You may end up getting to like round 50 or something, but at that point they would just get overrun and go down. I'm like, if you guys want to hit like that round 100 or whatever you're actually trying to reach, you're gonna have to eventually try to train these things, like keep moving. I did eventually end up going down during this ACV contract once, but believe it or not, I actually knew it was gonna happen before I even did it. I was standing on top of the ACV during its very last stop, and I'm sure you guys know how many zombies appear at this very last stop. Unfortunately, after looking through all ways of the crowd, I was like, you know what, we're just gonna have to jump straight into this thing, and we're most likely gonna be going down, which we did. We're gonna be alright because we brought in a few self-revives, and I got a little trick for this end part doing this ACV. We're gonna end up taking this zip line that's up on the wall of the fortress here, and we're gonna stand on top of the wall, and all of the zombies that are around this thing are gonna be just focused on the ACV trying to destroy it. If you guys remember from our previous video, we ended up using this VR11 as practically a sniper rifle, and we were able to turn zombies from just like 100 meters away. So you should be okay and in the clear to stand on top of this wall and just constantly keep repairing the ACV. Once the contract's done, just jump down and grab your stuff. We ended up getting not only that dog bone schematic, but we got the ether blade, we ended up getting another elder sigil, plus we got a refined crystal and another self-revive. Alright, this loot was a little bit crazy. We may be coming back in here. But I am not gonna lie, guys, that contract was really stressful, and the entire time I was looking at my screen like I was the Chick-fil-A girl, like just, huh? What in the hell? I can definitely tell you guys one thing. Next time you plan on doing this contract, come in here prepared, because that was stressful. So now we're going to head on over and grab our ether extractor bunny, which is going to be on top of the building that we grabbed our ammo in. If you guys still want to know anything about this Elder Dark Aether, I'm going to throw a map up on the screen right here. Big shout out to MWZHUB.gg. They put together all of these awesome interactive maps that'll tell you almost anything you need to know about Modern Warfare Zombies. We got maps for both Dark Aethers plus the big map, and I'm sure that they will continuously keep going with the new ones that we get as well. Links are going to be down in the description, go check them out. At this building also where our bunny is going to be, there's a lot of crystals that are growing all over this building, so I figure we rock around and just shoot these things a bunch until we find some sort of a decoy that we can use for these ether extractors. This game, I don't know why, usually I can find decoys in these things, but it just absolutely refused to give me a decoy grenade. I was able to finally get 2 cashmere grenades so we could get these done. My plan is from this point, since we have 2 cashmere grenades, we can use 1 on the first one, 1 on the second one, and then we should be able to use our ether shroud on the last one. Well, that's how things would have went in my perfect little world, but that's not how things went. We were able to get the first ether extractor done with no problem, but when I went to go run over to the second one, that's when we started to have some issues. Usually when we're done with this first ether extractor, we'll run up to the top pillar here and then jump over to the center of the fortress. There ended up being a damn hellhound in my way, and I froze him with the Wonderwaffe and he wouldn't move, so I decided to run around. It was probably a bad judgment call on my part. I think I probably could have just waited it out and then ran through the flames, but here we are now. Eventually we decided to go up again, and I had to pop that ether shroud, so now I'm sitting here thinking, what am I gonna do for this last ether extractor? Of course, when we did the second one, we did that one with no problem, and then I ran up to the top of the fortress to jump over towards our third ether extractor, and when I looked, I'm like, man, we got a mangler, we got a few dogs. Usually I would say this would probably be my demise, and I do not recommend you guys doing this, but I just decided to say screw it, and I decided to try it. I think I got really lucky, because we only took 2 smacks by dogs when we got this done. You guys are gonna see right here, man, I was absolutely sweating. And luckily when we get these contracts done in here, there's not a shitload of zombies still swarming us. You're gonna have a few, and you might want to just shoot them, but at least you're not dealing like there is in the new Dark Aether. Like, that's just crazy sometimes. Sometimes it's harder to get your damn rewards out of the contract than it is actually doing the mission itself. Take a look at this, guys. We got the golden armor schematic, and then we got ourselves another ether blade, which makes this run already worth it. Just knowing that I have 2 ether blades in my stash just ready to use, that just makes me happy. So now we're on our way down to grab our holdout mission bunny, and he's going to be sitting in the the front of this bus down here. This is going to be our very last contract before we exfil the hell out of here. Generally right now I'm not too concerned about wonder weapons, so we're going to be skipping those this time. Not only do we already have all the schematics to craft these, but I've been finding so many VR11s in the new Dark Aether lately and also in the red zone that I've actually been destroying these things. They really need to up our stash limit. I think the fact that we're still only sitting on 10 items in the stash is just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, hell, even just give us a way to actually increase the stash limit. I think that would actually be a really good idea, and I know somebody in the comments section actually said something as kind of a joke, but if you really think about it, it might be a really good idea. This guy said, give me a schematic that increases my stash. So let me know down in the comments section what you guys are thinking about this. Like, what if we had a certain schematic that we were only able to obtain in, like, let's say certain Dark Aethers, or doing a certain Easter egg, and then after we would obtain that schematic, it would increase our stash limit by 1. Basically making it a schematic that you could farm over and over and over again, and each duplicate one that you bring in would increase your stash by 1. Dude, you guys kind of like that idea? Do you think it would be engaging enough for players to want to keep coming back in and get a bigger stash to get more legendary stuff? The other idea I had is, like, what if it was like a containment level thing where your stash limit was actually somewhat tied to the containment level of your operator? Now this would basically be breaking up the stash in between your selected operators, so you wouldn't have like one main stash. Each operator would have their own stash. Like, let's say your operators all started with only a stash slot of 5, but you could eventually get them up to like 50. I don't know, personally for me, I think that would be like the best way that they would go, but kind of have a feeling that the majority of the content that is already going to be coming to this game has already been pre-planned out and made and everything, and it's all pretty much already set in stone with what's going to be coming with this game. Who knows, man? We can always hope for the better quality of life improvements. I've been kind of hearing some rumors down the grapevine that Treyarch might be using this mode as like their outbreak mode, which would honestly completely make sense. I mean, they could have all of their own round-based maps and stuff like that, but since the new Treyarch game is being completely made on the same engine and it's gonna be used in the same application and everything, I have a feeling is that what they're going to do is, instead of Operation Deadbolt, we're gonna have a different operation this year around. Like, just imagine Verdansk being our new main map with a bunch of new Dark Aether portals and stuff like that. I think that would be pretty cool. With Treyarch being the absolute lead role dev on this project, instead of just being the side helper devs, man, I could totally see them going all out with it this year. Because if you guys really think about it, throughout the last quite a few Call of Duties, we've had Cold War with Outbreak, and then we had the different weird mutated version that Zombies was in Vanguard, and now we have Modern Warfare 3 Zombies. It's like throughout the entire time they've been kind of molding the zombie mode and trying to perfect this more open world style of zombies, and I think there definitely is a place for it. At least I know definitely on my channel, whenever I've done content on Outbreak and Modern Warfare 3 Zombies, open world Zombies has always done the best on my channel. Followed up just by Zombies in general. Like, Zombies has always done good on my channel. For some reason my audience seems to really like the open world stuff, but I absolutely cannot wait for Treyarch's next game. I mean, this next Black Ops game is just gonna be huge. Not only are we getting round-based zombies, and we're gonna be doing guides on that, Easter egg guides, we're gonna be doing like round 100 guides, and on top of that, we're most likely still gonna have all of this open world stuff, and we don't know like what type of contracts or if we're getting new bosses or anything. I think the possibilities are just endless with what Treyarch could do, and God, I really hope I do not eat my words here, but I think not only is this next year just gonna be an absolutely phenomenal year for fans of zombies, but for creators, just everybody that's involved in the mode. I definitely think that this upcoming year is gonna be a really special year for Zombies fans. But check this out, guys. Out of our very last contract, we ended up getting those Aether Blade schematics, we got yet another Elder Sigil, and then we got some golden armor plates. We got damn good pulls out of every single one of these contracts. Now, we usually get some pretty good pulls out of the new Dark Aether as well, but I've been finding quite a few dud contracts in there as well lately. This could have just been my luck, but usually whenever I come into the Elder Dark Aether, especially in this old one, it's almost guaranteed that we get these legendary acquisitions. If you're still lacking those schematics, you guys definitely need to come in here and get those. These things are guaranteed. We're here at our exfil, and take a look inside of our backpack, guys. We got 2 Aether Blades, we got that Scorcher schematic, we got the Aether Blade schematic, Dog Bone, Golden Armor, we got Golden Armor acquisitions, we got a Refined Crystal. Greatly appreciate all the support that's been on the channel lately. You guys mean the world to me. I hope you guys had a wonderful holiday weekend, and can you believe my mom told me I was too old for an Easter basket? Can you believe that